Joined by UMass Boston men's tennis senior Sal Albano. Sal, what have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Just trying to fill the days. Trying to get some schoolwork done. Grown out a pretty killer mustache. Bleached my hair. Just anything to keep the mind young during these quarantine times.
You're in an interesting spot. You're an RA in the almost brand new dorms on campus, and you're on campus right now. What has that situation been like? What kind of went into the decision to stay on campus?
It's pretty quiet. Not too much going on. Most of the residents have gone home, and the same is true for most of the RAs. I guess the main reason that I stayed was just because it is my senior year, and I think I wanted to put myself in the best spot academically to succeed and finish strong. And I figured, if I was in the dorms with little distractions rather than going home and having my sisters in my ear at all hours of the day, I would probably be in a better spot to achieve those goals in the dorm. So that's probably why I stayed.
Have you been as productive as you maybe would have liked?
Definitely not as I would have liked, I seldom am, even without quarantine aside. So it's all getting done. Maybe a little more stressful than I'd hoped, but yeah, it's definitely not my peak levels of productivity.
So, Sal, typically at this point of the interview, I would point towards your sport, but we're going to save tennis for a little bit later in your life story, and we're going to start at the beginning. You have a very interesting story. You were born in China. Can you talk about the circumstances of why you were born in China and kind of your first couple of years there?
Yeah, so my parents were teachers. They were teaching at an American school. I believe it was a grade school in China, and English schools or American was all the rage, I guess, or so they told me. So they were hard to teach there. And I was born in Hong Kong. The school itself was in Shanghai. So for the first 2 years of my life, I lived in Shanghai. I guess from what I've been told, those first 2 years, I only understood Mandarin, and I didn't really understand any English. So when I returned to the States, my English development was very delayed. I didn't start speaking until a much later age.
Starting in the third grade and all the way up till college, you were homeschooled, and that was something that you and all of your sisters took part in. What was that experience like to be homeschooled for the vast majority of your primary education? And what did you see as some of the benefits of doing that in a maybe different atmosphere than the traditional classroom setting?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of benefits, especially when you in the context of college. I think the learning experience that I had during grade school and middle school and high school much more closely mirrored what I would end up doing in college. You don't really have the way that I homeschooled. It was very much on my own, and I had to sort of hold myself accountable. And I think that's sort of what college is. There's not really many people looking over your shoulder, making sure you're doing your work. It's sort of on you to make sure that gets done, and also on you to choose things that interest you and motivate you to learn. And then I think there are aspects of a lot of people at homeschool where maybe you're just inside all day and you're not really interacting with people. And luckily, me and all my sisters were big into sports, and so we did play a lot of sports at Haverhill High School. And that allowed, the social interaction aspect that I think some people at homeschool are missing. So I think in the end, it was a balance. I think I got the best of both worlds, and it really set me up personally for some success at UMass Boston.
I like the fact that you brought up Haverhill High School. You played baseball, hockey, and golf. Didn't play tennis, and we'll get to that. But you were also named a captain, I believe, of the baseball team. How was that in terms of socializing? I feel like that is one thing that maybe homeschool kids don't get as much of. But also, you were only around your teammates when you were playing sports. You weren't in the classroom. Typically, captains are not only some of the best players, but some of the players who are maybe the socially most popular or the hardest working. How did you kind of gain the trust of your teammates when you weren't necessarily with them the same hours that some of your other classmates were?
Yeah, I think there's definitely that divide because I wasn't in class with them all day. But I think I like to think of myself as someone who, I make the time I spend with others count. Baseball especially, I think, is a sport where, the social aspect of it relies so heavily in practice. Baseball practice is one of the most enjoyable experiences, or for my experience, anyways, is one of the most enjoyable experiences you can have. It's very social. You're hanging out with a group of people that hopefully you really enjoy spending time with. There's a lot of chit chat, a lot of banter, and I think I had a really good time doing that. I think I made people feel comfortable. I was also on the JV team for 2 years, and I really got to know and make some good connections with a lot of guys that I would end up being on the varsity team with when I was voted captain. I was an upperclassman, but I had spent a lot of time with the underclassmen who ended up voting me to be captain. I think that's ultimately how it happens, even when I'm not necessarily putting in the same amount of hours per se with those guys.
So you choose UMass Boston. You don't play tennis your freshman year. Take us through how your thought process of even trying out for the tennis team, and then what that process was like for you before the start of your sophomore season.
Yeah, so I was an orientation leader going into my sophomore year, and I think I was waiting outside of a classroom for a bunch of prospective or committed students to come out, and I saw an ad for come out to email Coach Berg for the tennis team if you're interested. And I sort of thought, if they're advertising, they must be actively looking for people, and it would be kind of funny if I tried out for tennis. I had no tennis experience. But so I went and got my racket, and I convinced my sisters to practice with me for I think the first 4 days before tryouts. When I went out, I was definitely. I don't even know if I would say a diamond in the rough. I was probably a regular rock in the rough. I was not very good. But Coach Berg, I guess he saw something, whether it just be height or, a willingness to put in the work. And he ended up offering me a spot on the team, and I was definitely had some trepidations at first, but when I saw the nice athletes gym that we all had access to, that really sealed the deal. And it's been so much more than just a nice place to work out. I've made some really meaningful friendships and connections, and I've learned a lot, and also, definitely improved as a tennis player throughout my time here. So really I would mark it down as one of, if not the best decision I made since, during my time here at UMB.
You've only played in 13 individual matches the last 3 years, in part because you're playing with some of the best men's tennis teams in program history, lots of talented players, lots of depth. But how much fun have you had? What's going to be your takeaway from being on the team the past 3 years, getting to play and practice with this group, and getting to play in some matches and having a fair amount of success? For someone we talked beforehand who'd maybe played a handful of times before you tried out, you're going to finish your collegiate career with a winning record, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, it is definitely a feather in my cap that I get to go out with the winning record. Definitely, maybe I didn't enjoy as much playing time as some other people, but I understand. This team was stacked. We were absolutely loaded every single year that I was on the team. Just maybe I wasn't in the matches, the competitive recorded matches, but practice was. Every single practice was a highly competitive, 2 hours. I loved every second of it. I've learned a lot. I've definitely gotten better as a tennis player. And it's a skill that I hope to keep with. And more than that, if you're not having fun in practice, no matter how much fun you have in the games, but those are the sports where you're not going to last very long. And I was having a blast in practice. I looked forward to practice almost every day. I loved any opportunity I got to get into a match, but the matches were sort of icing on the cake. The fact that, every day I got to go get some good work in, be competitive with another talented and competitive group of guys. That was the real prize of tennis. And it's, I learned a lot, and I'm going to take away a lot. Again, like I said, one of the best decisions that I made.
Is there a particular moment, whether individually or a team accomplishment that you'll look back and really cherish from your 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, winning the LEC last year was awesome. That was a great time. I remember probably the strongest memory I have was I think it was 2 years ago. We were playing Rick, and Sanskrit Sharma was playing this kid. I forget what his name was, but SS had been, or SS is his nickname, but he'd been trying to hit an overhead for the entire year. He could not hit an overhead, and he was playing from Rick. And it was an emotional match. Both sides were pretty heated. I think there was a lot of chirping going on between both benches, and I was probably played a very large role in that. And SS hit an overhead on this kid. I don't even know if he won the match, but it made my week. I was so happy for him. The rest of the team was so happy for him. And I think it speaks to the great team dynamic and team chemistry that team had, of how much we all pulled for each other. And I think that was a really special moment that represented a really special team and a special group.
Yeah, that's a great story. So you're not graduating this May. You're part of a 4+1 program where you're majoring in applied economics and minoring in business. What is your career plan going forward? What does the world have in store for Sal Albano?
I think things are still fluid. If there's one thing I've learned at UMB, it's that very few things go to plan, and sometimes trying out for tennis still this week is kind of a joke, can turn into one of the most meaningful experiences that you've had. I'm keeping my options open. Probably something in terms of policy or think tank work in terms of economics, because that is really what I enjoy. But I definitely wouldn't say nothing else could happen. Great opportunities fall into your lap all the time, especially when the more you put yourself out there and the more big people you know. And so I definitely wouldn't want to give you a definite answer, because who could say what's going to happen in a few years, or in a few months anyways.
Sal, it was a pleasure learning your story, and hopefully people will really enjoy it at home. Good luck that next month on campus, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, you said.